Have you ever felt like you're constantly giving in a relationship, but getting little to nothing in return? Maybe it's a friend who never seems to listen, a family member who always expects you to cater to their needs, or a colleague who always takes but never gives back. It can feel draining and frustrating, right? Well, you're not alone. In fact, studies suggest that selfishness in relationships is more common than you might think, affecting about 1 in 3 of us. Today, we're talking about how to deal with selfish people, set healthy boundaries, and protect your emotional well-being. Let's dive in. Selfishness is a word we've all heard, but what does it look like in relationships? Whether it's a friend who only reaches out when they need something or a partner who makes everything about them, selfish behavior can slowly erode the foundation of trust and respect in a relationship. If left unaddressed, it can impact your mental health, leaving you feeling exhausted, taken for granted, and sometimes even questioning your own worth. Dealing with selfish people is something we all encounter, but how we manage it can make a world of difference. In today's video, we'll break down the types of selfish behavior, how to recognize it early, and most importantly, how to take control and safeguard your emotional health without feeling guilty. This is crucial for anyone who wants to maintain healthier, more balanced relationships. 1. Understanding selfish behavior. Let's start with a critical first step, understanding selfish behavior. Now, I know that can be hard, especially when someone's actions are directly impacting you, but trust me, understanding why someone acts selfishly can give you a huge advantage in how you respond. Selfishness isn't one size fits all. It can show up in different ways. Unintentional selfishness. This might be someone who talks about themselves non-stop or dominates conversations without even realizing it. These people often aren't trying to be rude, they're just unaware of how they come across. Deliberate selfishness. On the flip side, some people are very much aware of what they're doing. They're the ones who manipulate, prioritize their needs at the expense of others, and constantly push boundaries. Take, for example, the friend who always calls you to vent about their problems but never asks how you're doing. You might spend an hour giving advice, and by the time you hang up, you feel completely drained. This is a common form of unintentional selfishness. But even if it's unintentional, it can still leave you feeling overlooked and emotionally exhausted. The good news is that recognizing the type of selfish behavior you're dealing with is the first step to handling it effectively. 2. Why people act selfishly. So why do people act selfishly in the first place? Well, there are many reasons, and they often go deeper than just surface-level greed or arrogance. Insecurity. Some people behave selfishly because they feel inadequate or threatened. By putting themselves first, they try to control their environment, believing that if they don't take care of their needs, no one else will. Fear of scarcity. Others are driven by a fear that there's not enough to go around. This mindset of scarcity, whether it's about attention, resources, or success, can cause people to hoard things for themselves, leaving others in the dust. Lack of empathy. Some selfish people simply don't understand, or don't care, how their actions affect others. They may have never learned how to empathize or put themselves in someone else's shoes. Overcompensation. And finally, some individuals act selfishly to overcompensate for past neglect or trauma. They've been hurt, ignored, or deprived, and now they make sure they're always their own number one priority. While none of these reasons excuse selfish behavior, understanding these motivations can help you see the situation more clearly. It can prevent you from reacting emotionally, and instead, allow you to respond from a place of wisdom. 3. Managing your emotions. Don't take it personally. One of the hardest things when dealing with selfish people is not letting their behavior get to you. But here's a big truth: don't take their selfishness personally. It's easy to feel like you're being neglected or undervalued, especially if this person is close to you, but often, their selfish behavior is about them, not you. When someone is acting selfishly, it's often because they're stuck in their own world. They might be so consumed with their own problems, desires, or insecurities that they can't see how they're affecting others. That's why it's crucial to shift your perspective. Instead of thinking, "What's wrong with me?" try to see it as this is something they need to work through. By detaching from their behavior emotionally, you can protect your own mental health and avoid unnecessary stress. Trust me, you can't control how someone else behaves, but you can always control how you respond. 4. Setting firm boundaries. Next up is one of the most powerful tools you have in dealing with selfish people: setting boundaries. Boundaries are like invisible fences that protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. They teach people how to treat you, and they remind you of your own self-worth. Here's a secret: saying no is a form of self-respect. When you decline unreasonable requests or demands, you are valuing your time and well-being. It might feel uncomfortable, but with practice, you'll see how empowering it can be. For example, if a coworker is constantly dumping their tasks on you, you can say, "I'm really busy with my own work, so I won't be able to help with that right now." No excuses, no justifications, just a simple, respectful no. 5. Practicing empathy without enabling. Now, here's an important distinction: you can still practice empathy without enabling selfish behavior. Empathy doesn't mean you let someone walk all over you. It simply means trying to understand what might be behind their actions. Sometimes people act selfishly because they're going through tough times, and a little empathy can go a long way. For example, if your friend is constantly talking about themselves and their problems, it might be because they're overwhelmed. In moments like these, you can offer empathy by saying something like, "I understand you're going through a lot right now," but at the same time, set a boundary by adding, "I'd appreciate it if we could take turns sharing." Remember, it's not your job to fix someone else's problems or always be the giver in the relationship. Empathy is about offering understanding while maintaining your self-respect. 6. Know when to walk away. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, some people won't change. And that's when you need to ask yourself a hard question: is this relationship worth the emotional toll it's taking on me? If someone's selfishness is consistently toxic and no amount of boundaries or confrontation is making a difference, it might be time to walk away. Walking away doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you've recognized that your peace and happiness are more valuable than maintaining a one-sided relationship. This could mean ending a friendship, reducing contact with a toxic family member, or even leaving a job where selfish colleagues drain your energy. It's never easy to walk away, but sometimes it's the healthiest choice you can make. You deserve relationships that uplift you, not ones that drain you. 7. Focus on self-care, recharge and rebuild. Finally, let's talk about something incredibly important: self-care. Dealing with selfish people can take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. That's why it's crucial to prioritize time for yourself. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths or spa days, though those are nice too. It's about doing things that recharge your energy, ground your emotions, and remind you of your worth. Whether it's spending time with loved ones who truly support you, practicing mindfulness, or pursuing hobbies that make you feel fulfilled, self-care is essential. When you take care of yourself, you're better equipped to handle the challenges of dealing with selfish people. More importantly, you're reinforcing the message to yourself that you are worthy of time, love, and respect. Conclusion summary. So, there you have it: how to deal with selfish people without losing your peace of mind. Remember, you can't control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. By setting boundaries, staying calm, practicing empathy, and, when necessary, walking away, you'll protect your emotional well-being and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. These strategies empower you to take control of your relationships and ensure you're surrounding yourself with people who value and respect you. Your emotional energy is precious. Don't let selfish people drain it. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to deal with a selfish person? How did you handle it? Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to know how you've navigated these tricky situations. And if you want to keep learning about maintaining healthy, balanced relationships, check out our next video on how to spot toxic friendships. Thanks for watching, and remember to prioritize your well-being.